Your life isn't up there, Elio.
There's a sign.
Leader of
Uh-oh.
Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
Overview. Inside Out 2 is a highly anticipated 2024 American animated film, marking a direct continuation of Pixar's groundbreaking 2015 film Inside Out. Directed by Kelsey Mann, this sequel explores the complex emotional landscape of Riley, now a teenager, as she faces the trials and tribulations of adolescence. Building on the foundation laid by the original film, Inside Out 2 delves deeper into Riley's evolving emotional world, introducing new characters and themes that explore the more nuanced aspects of growing up. This coming-of-age tale strikes a balance between humor, heart, and insight, making it a universal experience for audiences of all ages. Plot summary. A few years have passed since the events of Inside Out, and Riley is now navigating her teenage years. Her emotions, joy, sadness, anger, fear, and disgust, continue to operate within the control center of Riley's mind, helping her manage the complexities of her life. However, as Riley enters her teenage years, she begins to experience new emotions, such as love and anxiety, which complicate the dynamics in her mind's headquarters. As Riley faces challenges at school, her evolving relationships with family and friends, and her journey of self-discovery, her emotions must adapt to these changes. They must find new ways to work together to help Riley through the stormy waters of adolescence. Inside Out 2 explores the theme of change, illustrating both the struggles and the beauty of growing up, and how our emotions evolve with time. Voice. Cast. The core voice, cast from the original film, returns Amy Poehler as Joy, the ever-optimistic leader of Riley's emotions. Phyllis Smith as Sadness, whose role is crucial in maintaining Riley's emotional balance. Bill Hader as Fear, always trying to protect Riley from potential dangers. Mindy Kaling as Disgust, helping Riley navigate unpleasant situations. Lewis Black as Anger, who continues to represent Riley's frustrations. Additionally, the sequel introduces new emotions, love, and anxiety, voiced by new cast members, adding fresh dynamics to the relationships among Riley's emotions. Production. Details, development, and pre-production, the idea for Inside Out 2 emerged from the success and lasting impact of the original
Film?
Pixar recognized the opportunity to explore Riley's emotional journey during her teenage years, a time characterized by intense emotional changes. The screenplay was penned by Meg Leave, who co-wrote the original film, ensuring that the sequel would maintain continuity in its emotional depth and narrative style. Kelsey Mann, a seasoned Pixar animator, was chosen to direct the film, marking his debut as a feature film director, filming and animation. In typical Pixar fashion, Inside Out 2 was brought to life using state-of-the-art animation technology. The team faced the challenge of visually representing increasingly complex and nuanced emotions, especially as Riley matures. Advanced animation techniques allowed the filmmakers to depict subtle shifts in expression and body language to convey the film's deeper emotional themes. Additionally, the creative team expanded the visual landscape of Riley's mind, introducing new settings to reflect her transformation as she transitions into a teenager. Music and sound. The emotional tone of the film is further enriched by a score composed by Michael Giacchino, who returns from the first film. Giacchino's score weaves whimsical, uplifting melodies with more introspective and poignant pieces, complementing the narrative's emotional beats. The technical team also played an integral role in enhancing the visual storytelling, utilizing advanced rendering techniques and carefully designed color palettes to align with the emotional states of the characters. This immersive sensory experience helps convey the film's themes more effectively. Post-production focused heavily on editing the film's pacing to match its emotional rhythm. The editing team worked diligently to balance the humor with the more serious moments, ensuring that the final cut would resonate with audiences of all ages. The sound design team also meticulously crafted a rich auditory experience that complemented the stunning visuals, heightening the emotional impact of each scene. Release and reception. Theatrical release and availability. Inside Out 2 was released in theaters in 2024 with high anticipation surrounding its debut. After its theatrical run, the film became available for streaming on platforms like Disney Plus in high definition. It was also broadcast on various satellite channels, ensuring that it reached a wide audience across the globe. Box office performance. With a production budget of around $200 million, Inside Out 2 was a significant financial investment for Pixar. However, the film quickly recouped its costs, grossing over $800 million worldwide within the first few weeks. The commercial success. Scriptwriting. Meg Leave returned to write the screenplay for the sequel. Drawing from her research on adolescent psychology, Leave crafted a script that would resonate with audiences by portraying the emotional challenges of growing up while retaining the humor and warmth that made the original film so beloved. Casting and voice recording. The casting process included bringing back the original voice cast with Amy Poehler, Phyllis Smith, Bill Hader, Lewis Black, and Mindy Kaling reprising their roles. Additionally, new voice talent was selected for the emotions of love and anxiety. Voice recording sessions began early in pre-production, allowing animators to develop character movements and expressions that would match the vocal performances. Storyboarding and animatics. Once the script and voice recordings were finalized, storyboard artists began visualizing scenes. These storyboards were turned into animatics, which are rough animated versions of the storyboards. This process allowed filmmakers to see how the story played out and make adjustments before beginning full animation. Design and art direction. The design team worked to update the visual style of the film, reflecting Riley's transition from childhood to adolescence. New settings within Riley's mind, such as the redesigned headquarters, symbolized her maturing psyche. The art direction focused on color and lighting to convey the emotional tone of each scene, a technique that was vital in the first film, and even more important in this sequel. Filming and animation. As an animated film, Inside Out 2 did not require traditional live-action filming. Instead, Pixar's animation team used cutting-edge technology to bring the story to life. This involved intricate processes to create expressive characters and depict complex emotions, ensuring that the animation enhanced the storytelling while staying true to the emotional core of the film. A significant challenge faced by the animation team in Inside Out 2 was bringing new emotions to life while maintaining harmony with the established cast. Advanced animation techniques were employed to make each emotion visually unique, while ensuring their movements and expressions reflected their respective personalities. This was especially important as the emotions were now dealing with the more complex emotional landscape of a teenager. To create this depth, animators worked with motion capture technology, using reference footage from live-action performances to ensure that character movements were realistic and true to human behavior. This allowed the emotions to be more expressive and relatable, enhancing the authenticity of their interactions. Set design and world building. The film's setting, Riley's mind, required a complete redesign to reflect her growth from childhood to adolescence. The headquarters, where the emotions operate, was expanded to accommodate the evolving emotional complexity of a teenager. New areas were created within her mind to represent various aspects of her personality, interests, and experiences, each designed to be visually striking while adding metaphorical depth. These settings, such as Riley's changing memories and personal interests, offered a more sophisticated view into her internal world. Lighting and color grading lighting played a crucial role in defining the tone of Inside Out 2. Each emotional state was conveyed through light, Warm, bright tones represented happiness, while darker, cooler hues signified sadness or fear. The color grading team meticulously crafted the visual style, ensuring that each scene's lighting accurately reflected the emotions being explored. This nuanced use of color helped elevate the film's narrative and emotional depth, intensifying the connection between the audience and Riley's journey. Post-production. The editing phase of Inside Out 2 was particularly meticulous. The editors worked closely with the director and screenwriters to ensure that the pacing matched the emotional weight of each scene. By refining transitions, trimming unnecessary moments, and enhancing key emotional beats, they created a film that felt both cohesive and emotionally resonant. The balance between humor, drama, and action was carefully crafted, resulting in a viewing experience that catered to audiences of all ages. Sound design and mixing. Sound design played an integral part in Inside Out 2, enriching the film's immersive experience. The sound team designed distinct auditory elements for each emotion, using unique sound effects to complement their movements and actions. Ambient sounds were crafted to reflect the environment within Riley's mind, subtly enhancing the emotional atmosphere. These sound elements were mixed together with dialogue and Michael Giacchino's musical score, creating a cohesive and dynamic auditory experience that resonated emotionally throughout the film. Musical score Giacchino, who returned to compose the score for Inside Out 2, added a new lay and protectiveness, making him more than just the comic relief. Fear's comedic timing plays a significant role, but his vulnerability as he faces Riley's emotional upheavals adds depth to his character. Lewis Black as Anger, Lewis Black's voice. Work as Anger continues to shine in Inside Out 2. Anger's fiery outbursts mirror the frustrations Riley faces as she deals with the growing pressures of adolescence, but there's a surprising layer of growth in his character. Black, expertly, captures Anger's internal conflict as he learns that not every situation requires an explosive response. This added complexity to Anger's character helps balance the film's humor with more introspective moments. Mindy Kaling as Disgust. Mindy Kaling returns as Disgust, the emotion responsible for Riley's sense of taste, style, and social judgment. Disgust's no-nonsense, sassy attitude adds humor, especially when she navigates Riley's complex social world and peer pressures. Kaling's voice work emphasizes Disgust's growth as she develops a deeper understanding of what truly matters to Riley. As always, her witty lines and sharp delivery add much-needed levity to the film. New emotions. Anxiety and love in Inside Out 2, the addition of two new emotions, anxiety and love, was crucial to the film's exploration of adolescence. Anxiety, voiced by a new cast member, embodies the self-doubt and worry that often accompany teenage years. This emotion is anxious, cautious, and adds an element of nervous energy to the group, counterbalancing joy's optimism and fear's caution. Love, another new emotion, was introduced to represent Riley's experiences with romance and affection. This emotion is portrayed with warmth and tenderness, helping Riley navigate the complexities of relationships. Love's interaction with the existing emotions is central to Riley's understanding of her growing emotional and romantic connections. Box office and budget. The budget for Inside Out 2 was reported to be around $200 million, a significant investment for Pixar. This included costs for advanced animation techniques, visual effects, voice talent, and extensive post-production work. The high cost was expected, given the complexity of animating Riley's evolving emotional landscape and the creation of new characters. Box office performance Inside Out 2 performed exceptionally well at the box office, grossing approximately $750 million globally. The film was particularly successful in North America, where it earned around $250 million. The movie also had an impressive international performance, grossing an additional $500 million in markets like Japan, the United Kingdom, and China. This strong performance reflected the broad appeal of the original film and the anticipation surrounding the sequel. The opening weekend was especially noteworthy, as Inside Out 2 earned over $120 million globally, setting several box office records for an animated film. This success was due in large part to effective marketing and the widespread popularity of the first film. The strong word of mouth and positive reviews helped ensure that the film remained a strong contender throughout its theatrical run. Top of form, bottom of form, Inside Out 2 is a treasure trove of fascinating details that underscore the innovation, creativity, and dedication of its production team. Here are some of the most interesting and insightful facts about the film that reflect its storytelling depth, production challenges, and cultural impact. Pixar's first sequel to feature new emotions. Inside Out 2 breaks new ground as Pixar's first sequel to introduce entirely new emotions, significantly expanding the core concept of the original film. The addition of anxiety and apathy as new emotions mirrors the more complex and nuanced emotional landscape that comes with adolescence. These new characters were designed to resonate deeply with audiences grappling with the psychological challenges of growing up, and their inclusion was the result of extensive research into adolescent psychology. Expanding the world of the mind. Returning to Riley's mind presented a unique challenge: how to expand the original world while maintaining its intricate design. To address this, the filmmakers created new mind islands that reflect Riley's evolving teenage interests and personality traits. One notable new addition is Social Media Island, which represents the growing influence of social media on the lives of modern teenagers. This required the team to find innovative ways to visually represent abstract concepts like popularity and online interaction within the mind's environment. Amy Poehler's influence on Joy's character. Amy Poehler, who voices Joy, played an instrumental role in shaping the character's arc in the sequel. Known for her excellent comedic timing and deep understanding of character-driven storytelling, Poehler worked closely with the writers to ensure Joy's journey felt authentic. Joy's arc in Inside Out 2 is the science behind the emotions. As with the first film, Inside Out 2 grounded its portrayal of emotions in psychological research. The filmmakers consulted with leading psychologists and neuroscientists to ensure that the depiction of emotions and the workings of the mind were accurate yet accessible. This scientific foundation allowed the film to tackle more advanced psychological concepts, such as the role of hormones in emotional regulation during puberty, in ways that both children and adults could understand. Voice cast, reunions, and new additions. Fans were thrilled to see the reunion of the original voice cast, but Inside Out 2 also introduced new talent. For instance, the voice of anxiety was provided by Billie Eilish, a choice that resonated with younger audiences familiar with her music, which often explores themes of emotional distress. Eilish's performance brought an authenticity to the character of anxiety, making it one of the most memorable new additions to the cast. Homages and Easter eggs. Pixar has long been known for its Easter eggs, and Inside Out 2 is no exception. Fans of Pixar's filmography will notice several subtle nods to other films, including a cameo by a character from Toy Story 4, symbolizing childhood nostalgia. Additionally, Inside Out 2 contains a heartfelt reference to the first film, featuring a reappearance of Bing Bong in a memory sequence, which will surely evoke emotional responses from longtime fans of the franchise. Cultural impact and reception. Inside Out 2 sparked significant conversations around mental health, particularly in regard to the emotional struggles faced by teenagers and young adults. The film was praised for its honest portrayal of anxiety and apathy, two emotions that are particularly relevant during adolescence. This honest depiction of mental health challenges helped destigmatize discussions around emotional well-being and provided a valuable resource for parents, educators, and mental health professionals. Box office success amidst competition. Despite being released in a year full of highly anticipated animated films, Inside Out 2 held its own at the box office. Its continued success can be attributed to its strong fan base, layered storytelling, and emotional depth, which appealed to both children and adults. Its box office performance proved that Inside Out 2 had a universal appeal, able to resonate with diverse audiences across different age groups. The legacy of Inside Out. The success of Inside Out 2 solidified the Inside Out franchise as one of Pixar's most beloved and influential series. The film's exploration of more complex emotional themes, combined with its innovative animation and relatable characters, ensured its place as a landmark in animated storytelling. Inside Out 2 has inspired discussions about potential sequels or spin-offs, with audiences eager to see how Pixar continues to explore the intricate emotional landscapes of growing up. These interesting facts reflect the hard work, creativity, and cultural significance that went into making Inside Out 2 a standout film in 2024, further elevating Pixar's legacy in animated storytelling. Top of form, bottom of form emotional connections in Inside Out 2, 2024. Inside Out 2 deeply resonates with its audience, drawing viewers into the emotional journeys of its characters. Beyond its impressive technical feats, the film excels at exploring complex emotional themes and capturing the turbulence of adolescence. The film's success, both critically and commercially, demonstrates the power of animated storytelling to engage audiences on a profoundly emotional level. It also addresses significant themes such as mental health, the complexities of growing up, and the universal experience of navigating one's emotions during a transformative period of life. Technical Department of Inside Out 2, 2024. The technical team behind Inside Out 2 played an essential role in translating the film's intricate emotional landscape into stunning visual and auditory experiences. Pixar's commitment to detail, combined with cutting-edge technology and creative ingenuity, allowed the sequel to meet, and in many cases, exceed the high expectations set by its predecessor. Below is a deep dive into the various technical elements that contributed to the film's success. Advanced animation techniques. The animation process for Inside Out 2 presented monumental challenges, particularly in creating new characters and environments that had to seamlessly integrate into the established world of the first film. Pixar used a blend of traditional animation techniques alongside the latest advancements in computer graphics. The introduction of new emotions like anxiety and apathy required the creation of unique animation rigs and motion styles. For example, anxiety was designed with rapid, jittery movements to reflect the tense and unsettled nature of the character. This was achieved through a custom rig that allowed for quick and irregular motions, setting anxiety apart from the original emotions. On the other hand, apathy was given sluggish, heavy movements, mirroring its lethargic and indifferent personality. These contrasting animation styles were key to visually differentiating the new emotions, expanding the mind world. The world of Riley's mind was expanded to accommodate the evolving emotional and psychological landscape. New mind islands were introduced to reflect Riley's teenage years. The creative team had to develop new rendering techniques to handle the increased complexity of these new environments. Pixar's RenderMan software was updated to manage the intricate details and vibrant colors of the scenes. For instance, Social Media Island, one of the new additions, featured a kaleidoscope of colors and dynamic elements that required advanced shaders and lighting techniques to create a world that felt both immersive and alive. Visual effects, VFX. The VFX team faced the challenging task of representing abstract concepts like thoughts, memories, and emotions in ways that were both understandable and visually appealing. One of the most innovative VFX techniques was emotional contagion, where the emotional state of a character would visually influence the environment and other characters. This was achieved by creating dynamic simulations that altered the color, texture, and behavior of surrounding elements. For example, when anxiety dominates a scene, the environment becomes darker and fragmented, symbolizing the emotion's overwhelming nature. Additionally, the visualization of memories as glowing orbs that changed color and intensity based on emotional content was another example of how the VFX team helped to visually express abstract emotions in a tangible way. Color grading and lighting. The film's color grading and lighting played a critical role in shaping its emotional tone and supporting the evolving narrative. As Riley transitions from childhood to adolescence, the color palette of Inside Out 2 gradually shifts from the bright primary colors of the original film to more subdued, complex tones. This change reflects the emotional turmoil that accompanies growing up. For example, when apathy takes center stage, a desaturated color scheme is used, emphasizing the lack of emotional engagement associated with the character. The lighting team developed dynamic lighting systems that could respond to shifting emotional states, such as high-contrast lighting during scenes involving anxiety to evoke unease, while scenes with joy continued to use soft, warm lighting to evoke comfort and happiness. Sound design and mixing. The sound design of Inside Out 2 was instrumental in enhancing the emotional depth of the film. Each emotion was assigned a distinct sound palette that complemented its characteristics. For example, anxiety was paired with rapid staccato sounds such as ticking clocks and tapping fingers, heightening the tension during anxious scenes. In contrast, apathy was represented through low-frequency drones and sluggish echoing sounds that captured its lethargic nature. Layered soundscapes were used to mirror the complexity of Riley's emotional world, with background noises that subtly shifted to reflect the dominant emotion in each scene. For example, the bustling noise of a school hallway could morph into a cacophony of overlapping voices and footsteps when anxiety takes over, adding to the sense of overwhelming pressure. Editing and pacing. The editing team worked meticulously to maintain the film's emotional rhythm and narrative flow. They focused on creating smooth transitions between different emotional states to ensure that shifts in tone felt visual and narrative beats. Giacchino worked closely with the editing and sound design teams to ensure that the score enhanced the emotional impact of each scene. The music didn't just support the visuals, it actively helped to deepen the emotional experience of the audience. Filming challenges and creative solutions in Inside Out 2, 2024. Inside Out 2 faced several significant challenges during its production, especially given the high expectations following the first film's success. The unique demands of the film required innovative solutions in several key areas. To ensure both continuity and emotional depth, here's a look at some of the challenges faced and the creative solutions Pixar used to overcome them. Maintaining continuity with the original film. One of the primary challenges was ensuring that the visual style, character design, and emotional tone remained consistent with the first Inside Out film. The characters, joy, sadness, anger, disgust, and fear, were already well established both visually and emotionally, so maintaining their appearance and behavior was crucial. To ensure consistency, the animation team revisited the original character models and updated them with newer technology, refining their designs while retaining their core elements. Advanced animation software was used to enhance the characters' facial expressions, making them even more nuanced and expressive, which allowed for subtle updates to reflect the growth and evolution of the characters. Expanding the emotional world. Introducing. New emotions like anxiety and apathy presented the challenge of integrating them into an already established world without disrupting its visual or thematic coherence. The creative team collaborated closely with animators, writers, and psychologists to design the new emotions and their respective environments. Color theory, shape language, and motion studies were used to create unique visual and behavioral traits for each emotion. For example, anxiety was designed with sharp, angular features, and a cool color palette to contrast with joy's warm yellows. The environments associated with these new emotions, like Social Media Island, were created using advanced rendering techniques to ensure they fit naturally into Riley's mind while still standing out as new, distinct elements. Visualizing adolescent emotions. As Riley transitions from childhood to adolescence, her emotions become more complex and contradictory, often overlapping in unpredictable ways. Depicting this emotional complexity required a nuanced approach to animation and visual storytelling. The filmmakers used overlapping animation techniques to show how multiple emotions could influence Riley's behavior simultaneously. For instance, a scene might show joy and sadness affecting Riley's actions together, with the lighting, color palette, and animation styles blending to reflect this emotional tug-of-war. The result was a more layered, intricate portrayal of adolescence, capturing both the confusion and beauty of growing up. These creative challenges were met with innovative technical solutions, and the result was a film that not only stayed true to its roots, but also expanded the emotional and visual world of Inside Out in exciting new ways. Scene reflection of emotional duality and balance in Inside Out. Inside Out 2 masterfully captures the complexity of adolescence by portraying the emotional duality that often accompanies this stage of life. The filmmakers used innovative techniques to show how multiple emotions can coexist within Riley, offering audiences a nuanced depiction of her emotional landscape. This was achieved by employing split-screen effects and multi-layered backgrounds to visually represent the simultaneous presence of contrasting emotions. For example, a scene could show Riley experiencing both joy and sadness at the same time, and the animation reflected this emotional overlap. Lighting, color palettes, and animation were carefully layered to create a rich visual texture that conveyed the intricate emotional dynamics of adolescence. These techniques allowed the audience to experience firsthand how Riley's emotions interact, influence each other, and shape her behavior. Balancing humor and serious themes, one of the most delicate challenges in the making of Inside Out 2 was finding a balance between the humor and lightheartedness that made the first film beloved and the more serious, at times darker, themes associated with growing up. The sequel had to address complex issues such as anxiety, apathy, and the pressures of social media without losing the charm that appealed to younger audiences. The scriptwriting team worked meticulously to weave humor into the film's more serious moments, ensuring that these elements complemented each other rather than overshadowed one another. The new emotions, like anxiety and apathy, were carefully written and animated to reflect both. Transitions between lightheartedness and gravity were smooth, keeping the film accessible and emotionally engaging for all age groups. Rendering complex new environments. The expansion of the mind world in Inside Out 2 introduced a host of new, complex environments that needed to feel both visually distinct and consistent with the original film's world. This presented a significant technical challenge, especially with locations like Social Media Island, which required real-time rendering of constantly shifting elements, and Exam Island, which was designed with an oppressive high-pressure atmosphere. To achieve this, Pixar's technical team developed innovative rendering algorithms that combined procedural generation with manual artistry, ensuring the environments were not only highly detailed, but also adaptable to the emotional states of the characters. For example, Social Media Island featured dynamic elements that could shift based on the characters' actions. Likes and dislikes interacted with the landscape in real time, creating an immersive experience. The lighting and shading teams also employed cutting-edge techniques, enabling these new environments to change in response to the characters' emotional states, enhancing the story's emotional impact. Time management and production challenges with many large-scale animated films, managing the production timeline and maintaining the highest quality standards was a logistical challenge. The complexity of Inside Out 2's animation and the extensive post-production work required a highly coordinated effort across different departments. The production team used a robust project management system to allow for parallel workflows, ensuring that different segments of the production could move forward simultaneously. Regular meetings and real-time collaboration between departments allowed the team to address issues promptly and minimize delays. Additionally, Pixar employed cloud-based computing and invested in additional rendering resources to speed up production. This ensured that the studio maintained its high standards without sacrificing quality in the final product. The iterative review process was another crucial aspect that allowed for continuous improvements, ensuring every detail met Pixar's exacting standards. Audience reception and critical acclaim upon release, Inside Out 2 garnered immense excitement from audiences and critics alike, receiving accolades for its emotional depth, visual creativity, and thoughtful exploration of adolescence. Fans of the original Inside Out appreciated how the sequel honored the first film's spirit while expanding on its emotional and thematic scope. Audience response fans were deeply moved by the film's depiction of adolescence and the struggles that come with it. Many viewers, particularly those who had grown up with the first film, resonated with Riley's journey as she navigated the emotional challenges of transitioning from childhood to adolescence. The exploration of new emotions, like anxiety and apathy, connected with both younger audiences and adults, who found the portrayal of these feelings timely and insightful. Despite its serious themes, the film was praised for maintaining the humor and lightheartedness that made the first Inside Out so beloved. The interactions between the original emotions, alongside the introduction of new ones, provided plenty of comedic moments, ensuring that the film remained entertaining for viewers of all ages. Additionally, the visual appeal of the film, especially the new settings like Social Media Island and Exam Island, impressed audiences. The intricacy of the animation, coupled with the attention to detail in the character designs, textures, and lighting, made the film's visual design a standout feature. Critical acclaim critics widely lauded Inside Out 2 for its sophisticated handling of complex emotional themes, particularly the exploration of adolescence. The film's treatment of anxiety, apathy, and the tumultuous emotional world of teenagers was described as both timely and thought-provoking. The ability to balance humor with serious topics was another aspect that critics appreciated, with many highlighting how the film successfully conveyed important life lessons without losing its sense of fun. Riley's character development was noted as a standout element in the film. The evolution of her emotions felt authentic and relatable, with critics praising how the film depicted the changing nature of her emotional landscape. The addition of new emotional characters was also well received, with positive feedback on their design, voice acting, and their seamless integration into the existing ensemble of emotions. From a technical perspective, the film's animation and visual design received widespread acclaim. Critics admired the innovative rendering techniques and the vivid use of color, texture, and lighting to depict the mind world's expanded environments. Inside Out 2 was hailed as one of Pixar, with the gravity of their respective awards and nominations. Following its critical and commercial success, Inside Out 2 became a frontrunner during the award season. The film received numerous nominations and wins, solidifying its place as one of the most highly regarded animated films of 2024 Academy Awards. The film earned several nominations, including Best Animated Feature, Best Original Score, and Best Sound Editing, with many expecting it to win in these categories. Golden Globe Awards. Inside Out 2 garnered multiple nominations, including Best Animated Feature and Best Original Score, drawing attention for its broad appeal to both children and adults. Annie Awards. The film stood out at the Annie Awards, receiving multiple nominations for animation, character design, and voice acting, highlighting its artistic and technical achievements. Box office. Success Inside Out 2 was not only a critical success, but also a commercial one, surpassing box office expectations and confirming the lasting popularity of Pixar's emotional storytelling, critical and commercial success. Of Inside Out 2, Inside Out 2 was not only a critical triumph but also a massive box office success. The film's remarkable opening weekend and sustained popularity throughout its theatrical run were clear indicators of its wide-reaching appeal. The film had an outstanding opening, grossing over $200 million globally. This strong debut was driven by the loyal fan base of the original Inside Out, coupled with positive word-of-mouth and glowing reviews, which further fueled its momentum. By the end of its theatrical run, Inside Out 2 had earned over $1 billion worldwide, positioning it as one of Pixar's highest-grossing films to date. This financial success underscored the enduring popularity of the film's characters and the universal themes explored in the story. The quality of the animation, storytelling, and emotional depth played pivotal roles in captivating audiences of all ages. The film's success reflected its ability to connect with a broad demographic, drawing both returning fans and newcomers into the theaters. Audience reception. The film's strong audience reception was evident through high ratings on review aggregation sites like Rotten Tomatoes and Metacritic. The mixture of humor, emotion, and visual splendor struck a chord with viewers, making it clear that Inside Out 2 resonated deeply across different age groups. Fans were particularly appreciative of how the sequel expanded upon the emotional complexity of the original, adding new characters and emotional challenges while maintaining the beloved spirit of the first film. The positive word of mouth further amplified the film's reach, keeping its popularity high throughout its theater run. Conclusion on the film's impact. Ultimately, Inside Out 2 became a landmark achievement in both audience reception and critical acclaim. It stood out as one of the most successful animated films of 2024, surpassing expectations in both the emotional depth of its narrative and the technical brilliance of its animation. The film not only revisited the familiar world of Riley's mind, but expanded it, introducing new emotions and deeper layers of adolescence. Pixar crafted a sequel that resonated profoundly with viewers and critics alike, highlighting the power of storytelling to entertain, educate, and inspire. The film's box office success and positive reception throughout award seasons further cemented its place as one of Pixar's standout works, joining the ranks of the greatest animated films in cinematic history. Plot summary of Inside Out 2, 2024. Inside Out 2 takes us back into the imaginative and vibrant world inside Riley Anderson's mind, now as a 15-year-old navigating the turbulent emotional terrain of adolescence. The film delves deeper into Riley's emotional growth as she faces the challenges of growing up, with her emotions continuing to play a vital role in shaping her experiences and decisions. Setting and introduction. The story begins with Riley entering high school, a pivotal moment in her life filled with new social dynamics, academic pressures, and the uncertainty that often accompanies the teenage years. Inside her mind, the familiar emotions, joy, sadness, anger, fear, and disgust, are still working tirelessly to manage Riley's emotional responses, but they are now joined by new emotions that represent the increasingly complex feelings of adolescence. New emotional characters and the plottas. Riley navigates this new chapter in her life. She begins to experience emotions that are unfamiliar to her: anxiety and apathy. Anxiety, voiced by an expressive, jittery character, is constantly on edge, trying to shield Riley from the potential dangers and challenges that come with being a teenager. Apathy, in contrast, is a dull, gray figure who drains Riley's motivation, making it hard for her to stay engaged with her passions and responsibilities. These new emotions begin to create disharmony inside Riley's emotional head, higher as Riley's decisions begin to have greater consequences, affecting her relationships and even her future aspirations. Central conflict. The main conflict of the film arises when anxiety and apathy take over the emotional headquarters, leading to a major fallout between the emotions. Determined to maintain Riley's happiness, Joy embarks on a journey within the mind to understand how these new emotions can coexist with the others. Along the way, she discovers that growing up involves embracing a more nuanced emotional experience, where not every challenge can be solved by simply pursuing happiness. Meanwhile, Riley begins to withdraw from her parents and friends, feeling overwhelmed by the pressure of teenage life. This internal struggle is mirrored within her mind, where the emotions clash in a desperate attempt to restore stability. As Riley learns to navigate these complex feelings, she comes to realize that it's okay to experience anxiety, apathy, and sadness, as long as she understands and accepts them as part of her identity. Climax and resolution. The climax of the story occurs when Riley faces a significant decision about her future, one that will have a lasting impact on her identity and her direction in life. In a pivotal moment of clarity, Riley recognizes the importance of all her emotions and the value of each one in helping her make the best decision for herself. The emotions, each contributing their unique perspective, work together to guide her through this momentous choice. In the resolution, Riley reconciles with her parents and friends, opening up about her fears and struggles. She learns that growing up isn't about eliminating difficult emotions, but about learning to live with them and finding strength through vulnerability. Inside the emotional headquarters, Joy accepts that her role has evolved, and she works in harmony with anxiety, apathy, and the other emotions to support Riley in her journey toward adulthood. Conclusion of Inside Out. Inside Out 2 is a heartfelt exploration of adolescence and the emotional complexities that come with it. The film highlights that growing up is a challenging, sometimes chaotic experience, but one that ultimately fosters personal growth. The storyline serves as a poignant reminder that every emotion, no matter how difficult, plays a crucial role in shaping who we are. With its combination of humor, emotion, and stunning animation, Inside Out 2 delivers a touching and relatable story that offers valuable lessons about acceptance, resilience, and the importance of embracing all our feelings. Review of Inside Out 2, 2024, directed by Kelsey Mann, Inside Out 2 is a triumphant return to the imaginative and emotionally resonant world that captivated audiences in the original film. The sequel not only lives up to the high expectations set by its predecessor, but also expands on the emotional depth and complexity that made Inside Out a modern classic. One of the most remarkable aspects of the film is its nuanced exploration of adolescence, which is both brave and sensitive in its depiction of the emotional roller coaster that comes with growing up. As Riley transitions from childhood to her teenage years, the introduction of emotions like anxiety and apathy adds depth to the narrative, reflecting the real-life experiences of many teenagers. The film strikes an excellent balance between humor and heart, just like the original. The dynamic interactions between the emotions provide plenty of laughs, with Joy's unwavering optimism and anxiety's over-the-top reactions creating some of the funniest moments. Yet the film also tackles the more challenging aspects of adolescence, such as self-doubt, peer pressure, and the uncertainty of the future. This perfect blend of humor and emotional depth makes the film accessible to viewers of all ages, offering something for everyone to connect with. The voice cast delivers stellar performances once again, with Amy Poehler's portrayal of Joy remaining a standout. Poehler expertly captures Joy's determination and vulnerability, bringing the character to life in a fresh and relatable way. Phyllis Smith's sadness continues to be a fan favorite, providing both comic relief and poignant moments of reflection. The new additions to the cast, particularly those voicing anxiety and apathy, seamlessly integrate into the ensemble, adding fresh dynamics to the group and elevating the film. Visually, Inside Out 2 is a feast for the eyes. The animation is vibrant and full of life, with the mindscape inside Riley's head evolving to reflect her growing complexity. The color palette and character designs adapt to the changing emotional landscape, with darker tones and more intricate details adding depth to the world. The technical departments, from animation to sound design, have clearly poured their efforts into ensuring that the visual experience matches the emotional depth of the story, making Inside Out 2 one of Pixar's most technically accomplished